Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Ify, and I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that have subscribed to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks a lot. And if this is your first time of seeing me here, like I said, my name is Ify. I share everything regarding Canada immigration news, updates, as well as lifestyle, just content creation generally. So if it's something you're interested in, please click the subscribe button. So in today's video, I'll be sharing some tips on what you need to know if you're planning to rent accommodation here in Canada. I believe that these tips will really guide you when you're renting accommodation, and I will encourage you to watch to the end because the last tip is something that is very, very important. So number one tip is try to rent a place that is built before 2018. Now this is why I said so, though it's difficult, but if you should get a place that is built 2018, is to your own advantage, right? So when you get a place that is built 2018 November precisely, like before 2018 November, you are protected under the landlord tenancy board. You sometimes you have misunderstanding with your landlord, and sometimes there can be argument between you and your landlord, and sometimes your landlord may want to evict you illegally or increase rent illegally. So if you're protected under the landlord tenancy board, there are some things that the landlord cannot do to you. Example, evicting you. So the landlord has no right to evict you without the landlord tenancy board coming into play. In fact, they are the only ones that can evict you. So try as much as possible to get an accommodation that is built before November 2018. So number two tip is your budget. Get an accommodation that your first paycheck should be able to take care of, especially if you're a single person. Then if you're a family that has maybe 2 or 3 children, of course you can combine your first paycheck to be able to pay for your accommodation, or even let it be less than your first paycheck. Don't go and get an accommodation that your first paycheck will not be able to take care of, and you have to combine your first paycheck with the second paycheck. Here in Canada, paycheck comes bi-weekly for majority of the company. So your rent is usually monthly. So your bi-weekly paycheck, which is the first check, should be able to take care of your rent instead of combining the 2 paycheck for the month to pay for the rent, and then you have nothing to save. So don't go for a place that is very flashy just to impress anybody. You don't have to impress anybody. So rent a place according to your budget. Don't go and get a flashy place and yet your paycheck, you cannot even pay for that accommodation. You don't want to impress anybody here in Canada. Just do your own thing. If God should bless you and you get a better job that is like paying very well, fine, you can get a flashy place if you don't want to save too much, or if you don't have anything to save for. But to me, getting a comfortable place, at least everything is in a conducive environment, a conducive place, it's okay. But don't go and start getting a flashy accommodation just to impress maybe people back home and all that. So just think about your budget before renting that accommodation. Okay, just a quick one before you continue with your video. Sorry for the interruption. I'm doing a free Zoom session with anybody that is interested to immigrate to Canada, to know there are different options or how to immigrate to Canada. Like majority of you know already, that especially those people that are on TikTok, I came in as a permanent resident, and I did that without the use of an agent. I did everything myself. So I'll be sharing some tips and different options you guys have to come down to Canada. So if it's something you're interested, just simply click on the link in my bio and book that session. But the criteria is, please, you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's a win-win thing. I'm devoting my time to like chit chat with you guys. So the only thing you guys owe me is just to click on the subscribe button so that we can have that chat together. But note that I'm not a licensed immigration consultant, neither am I a licensed immigration lawyer. Everything I'll be discussing with you guys is simply from my experience and the things that I know. So if it's something you're interested, please click on the link in the bio and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Okay, you can go back to your video. Number three tip is take note of accommodation scam. This is especially for those that are immigrating newly to Canada. Majority of the people uses Facebook Marketplace. Some people uses Kijiji and the rest of them. Ensure that you do your due diligence before sending that money, especially if you are not here in Canada. Just maybe look for an agent that can help you to see the place. If, for example, you see a place that you like in Facebook Marketplace, you chat with the landlord. Don't go ahead to pay the money immediately. There are so many scammers there in Facebook Marketplace. They will put up an accommodation that does not even exist or that does not even belong to them. So before you pay that money, ensure that you have somebody on ground that can help you to check out the accommodation, check out the building, check reviews online. Is the accommodation there? Is it something that you're actually seeing online? Is it how it is in real life? So before you pay that landlord the money, ensure you do your due diligence, because there are so many scammers now on Facebook Marketplace as well as Kijiji. Don't see a place and just chat with the landlord. And the truth is, all these people, they know how to, they have very sweet mouth. Like, you can easily fall with the way they chat. You will think it's actually real. They will ask, some of them will ask you everything regarding the documentation in documentation, what you need to, the page, the credit check, your passport, and they will legitimately ask you all the documents, and you will think that is real, but at the end, those are just scammers. So before you release that money, ensure that you have an agent. In case you don't have anybody on ground to help you check, ensure that maybe you have an agent or someone that can check that accommodation for you before you pay. Or to be on the safer side, if you are not sure, you just, when you come down, you can stay in Airbnb first, maybe a week or some days. It can be very expensive, but it's better than wasting all the amount of money on an accommodation that it's a scam. So if you're not sure of the place you want to rent and nobody is on ground to check it out, my advice is, when you land here in Canada, get Airbnb, then from there you can look for your accommodation yourself. Then the next is, please, before you pay for an accommodation, consider the area you're renting. There are some area, if you're sleeping at night, in fact, you cannot sleep very well because the security is not there. This is Canada, does not mean that bad things does not happen, or there is no stealing or kidnapping or someone coming to your house to take your properties. It still exists, especially in some areas. We have what they call the downtown. So many terrible things happen around that place. So if you are a family that have kids, especially, you might want to look at area that is not exposed to thieves and all that, bad people hanging around. So you need to check that area. Then in addition to this, you need to check the house itself. There are some house that is infested with bugs and the likes of them. So before you rent that place, please ensure, check reviews and see what people talk about about the accommodation. You don't want to rent a place that is infested with bed bugs and all those creepy insects. So when you come in, you will not be comfortable, and some of the insects will enter into your luggages, and then you will now discard them. Leads to wastage. So ensure that your accommodation is very okay. And there are some places too, they have leaking roofs. So if it's a place that has leaking roof, you ensure that you have that conversation with your landlord, because I watched a video about how someone that stays in the basement, then another person is staying upstairs only for the dogs pee. The dogs pee, when the dog pee in the room, it leaks down into the person's basement. So that is very, very disgusting. Those are the things you also need to check out for. There are some buildings that are very, very old, so some repairs needs to be done. And what some people do as well, some landlords, they use paint to cover mods. There's what they call, if you know about this green thing that comes out in the wall, from the wall, those things is very hazardous to health. So you ensure that you check it very, very well and ask questions. You check reviews if that's what if the building has those kind of things. Always check reviews online, and you can ask people around the surrounding about that particular building. So if you see anything that is of concern to you in the building, especially the bed bugs and the likes of them, please have that discussion with the landlord, or alternatively, you can leave that accommodation and then get another one. Then the next tip, how many have I even mentioned? I think I've mentioned up to 5 or 6. So the next tip is get an insurance for your accommodation. This is very important. Some people will say, no, I don't want to waste my money on insurance. But the truth is, disasters do happen. Flooding will happen. Maybe even fire outbreak can happen. So I can't stress enough the importance of you getting an insurance for your accommodation. There are some landlords safe. If you don't have that insurance, they will not rent that accommodation to you. So insurance is very, very important. Like what some people do, there's what they call combo insurance. You can do your car insurance and your home insurance together. They call it combo. With that, the price of your insurance that you pay monthly will drastically reduce. Like me, I have to do a combo insurance so that the amount I pay for my home insurance is not even up to like $40 monthly. It's something small, so that in case incidents happen, you're covered by your insurance company. You don't have to start dragging your landlord, or you and your landlord will start going to court in case maybe there is a fire outbreak and the rest. So ensure you get an insurance for your accommodation. And the last and final tip for this video is, for those that made it to the end of this video, sharing an accommodation with your landlord. By sharing an accommodation, you guys might live in different rooms, but you share your gas, as in your kitchen, as well as your the washroom, the bathroom, okay, with your landlord. Know that if you share your kitchen and your bathroom with your landlord, you are not protected under the landlord tenancy board. You know, my number one tip is you have to look for a place that is built before November 2018. So even when you stay in a place that is built before November 2018, but you're sharing the kitchen space as well as the bathroom, you are not still protected under the landlord tenancy board. So if the landlord wants to increase their rent, they can increase it to any amount they want. They can do anything they want, and you are not protected by that law, provided you're sharing your kitchen space as well as your bathroom with your landlord. You know, when the landlord wants to increase the rent, especially for buildings that are built before 2018, there is a certain percentage that they must increase it to. They can't exceed that percentage. Like in 2023, it was 2.5%, and in 2024, it's still 2.5%. So if, for example, you're paying maybe 2,000 on 1.5, and the landlord wants to increase the rent, the landlord cannot increase it above 2.5%. So if your landlord tries to do that, you have the right. There are different forms. When you go online, there are different forms you can fill with the landlord and tenancy board to report it if your landlord is exceeding the amount, even when you've had that conversation with him or her that you're not supposed to increase above this above the rent with this percentage. So if you are not sharing the kitchen space and the bathroom, you are protected. Then another thing I would like to mention is the landlord cannot just simply evict you, especially when you are not sharing common areas like the kitchen and the bathroom with the landlord, because you're protected by it. If there are some situation whereby the landlord says they want to fully take over the building or they want to sell off the building, as a tenant, and the landlord will give you eviction. As a tenant, the landlord supposed not to like maybe verbally tell you that you have so time to evict this place, that he wants to sell it or he wants to make repairs and all that. If the landlord wants to do that, there is what they call N12 form. He needs to give you an N12 form plus 1 month accommodation. It's like a compensation. It's always followed by that N12 form. So you should know your right. So you see the advantages of you not sharing kitchen space or bathroom with your landlord, so that you'll be protected under the landlord's tenancy board. If your landlord comes with an excuse that you want to that's always their excuse, family member wants to take over or they want to get the entire space for themselves. The reason why majority of the landlords do that is for them to allow you to leave, so that anybody that is coming in again, they can increase the price more than that 2.5%, because they know that they cannot increase more than the 2.5%. So any landlord that is telling you to leave verbally, you should not leave without him giving you that N12 or giving you your 1 month compensation. The least they can do, they can go to court. That's it. And going to court itself will take forever, months before they will get hearing. So the landlord that is peaceful will actually issue that N12 form, as well as the N12 form represent that actually the family members want to take over the place, and the landlord will also give you 1 month rent. So with this tip of mine or tips, I hope you've been able to gather some tips and some points on what you really need to do or know when you are getting that accommodation. Please guys, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video to grow my YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.